There are going to be many of those moments in your Christian walk that will not feel glamorous. You will feel like life is lifing, you know, like you will feel like every now and then that you're drowning, but when you have that true relationship with God, you know that you won't. We are rolling in the sun, period. Currently have an hour and a half to get ready and record this video at the same time. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Welcome guys to my channel. This reminds me of real old Elodie vibes, where she would do get ready with me's with Q&As and solving dilemmas. We're bringing back the vibes, you know, like I like filming in any scenario, but I think there's something really nice about like watching someone do their makeup as they talk, because I'm not about to give you guys a tutorial. I really hope you know that. I don't know how to do makeup. I have never learned and I don't think I ever will, so this is not a tutorial. Just want to put that out there. You ain't gonna learn nothing about makeup here. Also, ignore this. It's so sad and it's right by my tattoo. I keep getting like these blisters from my Fitbit and I have to like switch it over to like each arm. I literally had a flare up this week as well. Also, look how white I am. I am so white. Week 2 of black nails, warning this weather, but there is supposed to be a heat wave soon. So I'm feeling hashtag excited for this to not look like a ghost anymore, like legit. It's getting terrible. I'm going to be answering some of you guys as well, solving some of you guys' dilemmas. We are going to start with concealer. Well, we're going to start with getting rid of this greasy face because your girl releases sebum like she's grilling chicken on her face. I use these. I'll show you. That is my oil. I literally carry these around like they are my life. Like I will forget my keys at home, but I will never forget these. Obviously some people have dry skin and they need to put bare moisture on before they do their makeup, but me, I do have combination skin, which is the annoying thing because my skin is really oily, so like it's kind of hard to like cater towards the dry side of my skin. I look so white right now, but we're just gonna roll with it and not get upset and just remember that God is good all the time. We're gonna start with concealer. Is this the right shade? Yes. I always use LA Girl Pro Conceal. I'm about to say the B word. Can't say that. It does the job and I wouldn't change it because it's just reliable, you know what I mean? That is as much as I use. Again, not a tutorial. Don't try this at home, kids. Okay, we're gonna go to the first question. The first dilemma, well, the first two are about education, which I am not most experienced in that front, so I will do my best because I am an uneducated babe. I am educated, okay? Let me not say that. But some people seem to think me not going to uni equals me being uneducated, so I like to play on it to help my trauma. So the first dilemma says, I'm stressing so much about my future. I'm about to go into year 13. Oh, love you. And I used to want to do law, but I recently realized that I'm not sure if this is for me. I'm more interested in a creative career, but my parents don't support this. My relationship with God hasn't been the best, but I've been praying for him to show me what my purpose is, and I still feel lost. I know that God has a purpose and plan for me, but I don't know why it's hard to see while I'm asking to be shown the right way to go. Any advice? When you get to that age where you're deciding your future, you're building independence, but at the same time you're very much dependent upon your parents, which makes it very difficult when you're wanting to pursue a career or do something that your parents don't agree with. I personally have not had an experience with that, but I do have a lot of friends that have had struggles with choosing a career that their parents agree with. You can't really stop their reaction. However, you want to go about it in a way that's like, I appreciate how you raised me, but these are my reasons to why I want to do X, Y, Z. Because at the end of the day, as I said, it is your choice what you do. Because when you have to sit in your bed at night,
you go to bed at night, you lay there and you take responsibility for yourself.
When you're 35 and you're working at that office, you have no one but you to hold accountable for what path you went down.
Because nobody's going to take responsibility for you.
where you are right now is a crucial age where you need to be able to take responsibility for your own actions and know that what you do now will determine your future later, which is a mad thing. It is a mad thing that we, so young, have to make such bold decisions about our future. Your parents won't be there forever. They're there to raise you and show you like the opportunities that are out there, but it's not their job to choose what you do. I have a lot of people who disagree with what I do, not my parents, thank the Lord, but I have people, and I've talked to people in my life who look down on like a creative job, which obviously I know you stated in your dilemma, and that's sort of something you want to go down. People still give me the side eye. Like, I mean, they gave me the side eye when I did YouTube, which is understandable because I look like an idiot, don't I? But when I talk about my marketing job, still obviously social media, content creation, videography, editing, blogging, all that stuff is very like new Gen Z millennial sort of vibe. So yeah, some people look down at it and don't see it as like a real job, which is hilarious because there's been marketers since like the dawn of corporate. I would far rather be given side eye and know deep down that it's something that I really want to do, and no matter who chucks stuff at me, no matter the looks I get, no matter the comments that people make, I know that I've chose something that I love. And I think you have to have that same mindset. But in the sense of the second bit that you said about your faith in God and how it's sort of been dwindling right now and you're not really sure of your purpose and it's just not being made evident to you, I can guarantee you that like 99% of the population can relate to you. What do I need to do now? Oh, mascara. I need to cut some new lashes. I always like come home and because I'm tired, I just like take them off and I lose them, and then they end up like all mushed together on a sock. They've been put on the carpet, they've been all moulded about, so now I've got to use a whole new lash set when I go out again, which is a waste. People don't know their full purpose. I'm doing what I love, don't get me wrong, and like this is a big part of my purpose, but no one knows exactly when things are going to come, how they're going to come, what it's going to exactly look like. But what you need to know is that your purpose is serving God. That is our main purpose as human beings on earth. I think a lot of people see purpose as a job, as a business, etc, etc. Yes, it can come out in the form of that. Gosh, this looks really bad. It does feel really bad, to be fair. Feel sorry for me. Number 2 is obviously you stated that you feel far away from God, but you're confused as to why when you're asking him, he's not giving you any direction. I have 2 things to say about this. The obvious one is connect more with God and don't see God as just a person that provides you with an answer. He is the answer for one, and you should go to him about more than just what you want from him. It should be, how can I live my life in a life of sacrifice? How can I posture my heart in a way that is centered towards Christ and not towards my own gain? That's very important. And secondly, you stated, girl, I got the receipts where you stated that you want to do something creative. Sometimes God doesn't give you the entire map from A to Z. He will give you A to B and you just have to run with it. Creativity is a massive realm. It could be anywhere from literal art to marketing to technology. World is your oyster, you know? But start. Like, that's such an important thing that I think so many Christians, we get really stagnant because we think if we haven't got the final answer, then we can't move. God has already planted clearly something in your mind that says, I want you to do something a little bit different, which is obviously daunting and you might not know exactly what. But if you say, God, I'm going to take this step, and you tell me which next one to take, he will do it. So it's A, about committing yourself to God in a way that isn't just about yourself, and it's B, moving. Right, I need focus right now. Did that just go good on the first try? I am an amazing woman. Maybe I am an MUA after all. The second one is similar to the first one, and let me just give a disclaimer. I don't know how I'm going to help you, child, but I'll try as hard as I can. Why? Because it includes the word university. Whoa. I didn't go. What advice would you give to someone entering university with a relationship with God, trying to balance making friends, school, work, and God. The first and most important thing, see God as your life overall. So God is at the core, and out of that springs friends, out of that springs schoolwork, out of that springs work. When you have God at the center, not only will it give you clarity about a lot of things, but it will also give you strength. It will help you know how to manage all these things, and it will give you a peace that passes all understanding, because I know from my friends, a lot of people that went to uni, they just felt like they were swimming, not even swimming, they were drowning, and they were trying to stay afloat for the whole 3 years. But a large part of that was probably because they had nothing to rest in when times were tough. And yes, that would include you reading your Bible, you praying, you attending a church, doing all that sort of stuff. But it also is that when you read your Bible, you are reading it with an intention for it to stay in your heart and stay in your mind, where when you are facing difficult trials, when you are working towards a deadline for an assignment, you know the word and you can carry it through with you, and you have that strong conviction that God is victorious. And above all of this uni work, no matter how much it piles up, God is your strength, and he's also your comforter in times of hardship. Also give you wisdom on how to go about things. I think people forget that God is a practical God as well as he is a mentally helpful God. He will come through for you in many ways. He'll help show you what something means in a certain topic that you're studying. He will help you prioritize. We don't talk about that enough because we find it weird that God would help us that detail. But if a human being would help us that detail, God will do all that and more. Okay, I don't do my eyebrows. I used to, but nowadays I just feel like it makes me look like there's too much going on. Probably because I don't know how to do them. This highlighter is a hot mess. So when I was in Barcelona, I dropped it on the floor and it went all in the tiles. I did try to clean it up because I'm a very respectful person of other people's spaces. You will never see me leave a hotel dirty. But there is definitely some thousands of millions of sparkles in that bathroom now because they were deeply rooted in the cracks. But that's fine. I left it ghetto fabulous, you know? I need to get a new one because every time I open it, it just like goes everywhere. It's just like a natural glow. I mean, I'm already oily, so that helps. If you make him the top priority, it's like a relationship. Yes, in a human sense, your romantic relationship is the most important thing in your life. But unless you have a strong relationship with God to be able to take care and tend to that relationship in the way that is healthy and beneficial and long term, you're gonna have to put God before that relationship. Love God before that relationship. Love God before your degree. Love God before your friends. Love God before your money. It all goes after him. And that is on period. Okay, so the next one is, I don't have the same fire I had for God in 2020/2021. I know a fire is not something I can get, but the closest and the sense overall vibe and mindset I had before hasn't been the same since I was a new believer. I've been through many trials and tribulations since then, and I thank God, and he's kept me through it all. I know it was him, but I miss the consistent intimacy I had before with him, you get me? I have been praying on this, but I wanted to hear what you have to say on it, and have that answer shared with others feeling the same. Thank you. Oh, you are very welcome. I can completely relate to that because I think sometimes I still feel like that. Lockdown Elodie, who just came to Christ and had that like initial real excitement over Christ, it's not the same. Obviously sometimes it is, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's not. A lot of times it's not. The first thing is that my schedule changed a lot, aka was in lockdown, jobless, couldn't go anywhere, so naturally my relationship with God was just flourishing. Now I have a full-time job and life is continued like normal, we thank God. So therefore naturally the time isn't the same. So my faith has had to become mobile, meaning that it goes with me everywhere, meaning that even when I am really busy, it still has to be at the forefront of my mind, and I have to ensure that I'm thinking of Christ even when I haven't got hours to sit by my Bible. The second thing actually links back to The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis that I read not long ago. Well, actually it was a long time ago. It was like a year ago. He was talking about romantic relationships, and how when you first fall in love with someone, you like fall in love and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this person, like you're head over heels, and you get butterflies every time you see them, and you even get like a little bit nervous and blah blah blah. And that was exactly how I felt with Naz. It was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited. And it's not to say that I don't get that same excitement with him now, like in the sense of love, and the love has grown so deep. But in the book, C.S. Lewis talks about how that love is matured. So it may not be the up and down, crazy in love sort of love, but it is a love that is stable, where it doesn't necessarily require as many butterflies, but there is that consistent understanding that the other person is there for the other person. Whatever people say, the state called being in love usually does not last. If the old fairy tale ending, they lived happily ever after, is taken to mean they felt for the next 50 years exactly as they felt the day before they were married, then it says what probably never was nor ever would be true, and would be highly undesirable if it were. Who could bear to live in that excitement for even 5 years? What would become of your work, your appetite, your sleep, your friendships? But of course, ceasing to be in love need not mean ceasing to love. Love in this second sense, love as distinct from being in love, is not merely a feeling. It is a deep unity, maintained by the will and deliberately strengthened by habit, reinforced by, in Christian marriages, the grace which both partners ask and receive from God. They can have this love for each other even at those moments when they do not like each other, as you love yourself even when you do not like yourself. They can retain this love even when each would easily, if they allowed themselves, be in love with someone else. Being in love first moved them to promise fidelity. This quieter love enables them to keep the promise. And I think it's similar when it comes to God, not exactly obviously, but I think I've gotten to a point now where, like, yes, I will cry still, girl. I'll cry when I worship. I will cry when I read a verse sometimes, and I definitely feel very overwhelmed by his love still. But rather than it being like, oh my gosh, I just found this out, oh my gosh, I just found this out, and you're just like loads of information just being chucked at you, it's like now I have the information, it's just what I do with it now. So now I'm like in that mobile stage of my faith where I'm acting it out and I'm living it out and I'm applying it to my life, where like that just doesn't feel as fun. It doesn't feel as like revivally. It does feel mundane sometimes. It does feel like you're slugging along, but that's the beauty of it, in the sense of like you still know that he is there, you still know that he is good, rather than like the new Christian knowing it but not really. Because like for me, I knew it, but then what happened? Lockdown ended and I had a bit of freedom, and I went right back into like a lot of my sinful habits and my sinful lifestyle, because it wasn't marinated within me. So I had the excitement, but I was like that seed in the parable of the seeds, when Jesus talks about how it is the one that when wind comes it blows away, because it has not got any rooting in the word. But obviously you're probably thinking, well, is it supposed to stay like this? Like, am I supposed to just feel like I'm just trudging along, not really feeling like filled with the Holy Spirit, feeling alive, feeling on fire? Feeling does not determine God's presence. And I know this is something that people used to say to me all the time, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't feel him. It doesn't feel good that I don't feel him. I know that. If we just chase a feeling, we're not really chasing God, because there are moments of hardship with God. There are moments of having to give up something that is really, really difficult and choose holiness over fleshliness that can seem very mundane when you're looking at it from the carnal mind. There are going to be many of those moments in your Christian walk that will not feel glamorous. You will feel like life is lifing, you know, like you will feel like every now and then that you're drowning, but when you have that true relationship with God, you know that you won't, and that's what makes it so beautiful. However, when it comes to the feeling, I think you have to look at yourself. I went through a stage recently where I was essentially wanting a promotion, not feeling like I was going to get it, feeling worried that I'm being underappreciated. I got the promotion in the end, spoiler alert. But in that time, I definitely was like over-consumed with my career, of like where I wanted to go, how much money I wanted to make, how much influence I wanted to have in the company. My mind was just on work over and over and over again, because it was just like consuming me. And when I look back at that time, I was going through a lot of confusion as to where my faith had gone. Why don't I have the same zeal to read my Bible anymore? Why, when I am reading my Bible, I'm feeling like I want to rush it because I want to do something else because I'm bored? Why are my prayers just feeling really repetitive? It doesn't feel like I'm like connecting with him on any way. It feels like I'm just like talking in a room on my own, not really getting any spiritual downloads at all. And that's because you can't serve more than one God. God is a monogamous God, meaning one. God is a God where you can't serve other gods. Like, idolatry isn't when you serve God and something else. Idolatry is when you serve something else over God. There will never be a time where a human being can serve God at the same pace as something else. If you are thinking you're serving God the same pace as something else, that something else is definitely above God. A lot of the time, or for me anyway, when I look at my issues with pursuing God, it tends to come down to that one fact that I am putting something over God. Looking at yourself in the mirror and searching your heart is really, really important when it comes to these things, because a lot of the time it has to do with something that we might be unintentionally doing that is taking us away and distracting us from God. And the last one, I am done with my makeup, by the way. This is what I mean by simple. Like, it doesn't even really look like I've done anything, but in that way no one will ever say, look at her makeup, she looks very trash, because I know I'm not capable. What is your advice on trusting the process and just enjoying where you currently are at life? Girl, when I read this, I felt it. Right now, I'm feeling it. I am going through some stuff that makes me feel so uncomfortable, so not content, but I also have the conviction from God to trust the process. You can still get fruit from a fruitless season, just in different areas, and to remember that there is something that he is doing in this time. Like, if our lives were just like go all the time, we would never have time to stop, reevaluate, switch it up, refocus, and move on. We just would be so overwhelmed. Things would be coming at us at a speed that we are not ready to accommodate to. If I had everything that I ever wanted in life, that would include children. I cannot provide for a child. I would feel bad for that child. I would try my hardest, but I would feel bad for that child. Why? Because I'm in my selfish era, meaning that I want to live and build a life so then I can accommodate for a child. I don't really have the time to be rocking a baby back and forth whilst I build my career so they actually have nappies to be wearing and pooing and peeing, you know? The same goes for a baby as the same goes for our entire lives and plans and goals and where we want to go and our aspirations. There are things that we may want, but we are simply not ready for it. And that's what I've had to realize a lot recently in a lot of different areas of my life, my career being one of them, is that I am not ready. My YouTube full-time being one of them, I am not ready for a lot of it. And I just need to take it day by day, keep learning, keep evolving. When you have a heart that is fully focused on God and fully reliant upon the fact that you know that his plan is good, you will never be fruitless. Psalm 1 verses 1-3 says, happy are those who don't trust in unwise counsel, blah blah blah. He will be like a tree planted by the river, whose fruit will not wither, and in all that he does he'll prosper. That is the EJV version, elodiecjones version. But the point is that his leaves will never be bare. Meaning that even if you are in a so-say barren season, there are things that God is doing in you that you may not know is a fruit that is a fruit. Plus, the area that you are lacking in, God may be using that time to make you fruitful in something else. So when you go back to bearing fruit in this other area, this fruit will help this fruit be even more nutritional, even more juicy, even more delicious, even more beneficial for yourself. That's how I look at it. When we trust in the process, there's that desire to trust in our ability to get through the process. We have to trust God in the sense of he is working out the process for the good of us, and all we need to do is surrender to him. And I think that makes any difficult, dry or confusing season a lot less overwhelming, and it gives you a lot less opportunity to become self-righteous as well in the end of it. I'm so proud of myself. I did this all on my own. No, you didn't. It was God. I am now in a rush. Got a little bit of a ready pinky lip. We love to see it. I'm gonna get changed now, although I might not get changed. What do you guys think? And the monkey socks. This is my go-to outfit when I have nothing else to wear and I don't really want to think about having to wear anything else. Just all black with a leather jacket and a side bag. It just makes you look put together. It's just cute all the time. It's weird ending this standing up. How weird is that? But I love you guys so much. Pray that a bit of this advice of benefit to you, and I'll be doing more in the future. Bye!